So that's perfectly just. Your Father, if He's the judge, can pay your penalty.
So the idea, in theology, we call it a substitutionary atonement.
Yeah.
So the idea is like, why, if we were guilty, because we all have sinned, why, if we were guilty before a holy God, then all deserve hell, right? I'm like, yes. So why, how does this make sense that Jesus, not being guilty, He took the punishment for us and then we are set free? And this is the example, they told me, so if I go to a judge today, certainly we don't go by that norm, say, hey, if I kill or rape or do like a crime, my brother or my father, they come and say, hey, no, I have to be in jail in his place. They're just going to be like, no, like he's the one who committed the crime. He's the one who has to be punished. So, and that's a very key doctrine of the Christian faith. So how does that make sense in how we understand justice? Because like I told you, we don't do it like that in the courts.
Yeah, well, it's not just what happened to Jesus. It was unjust what happened to Jesus, but Jesus volunteered to take the punishment, right? Jesus volunteered. He was innocent, and He said, I will go and take the punishment. Now, it might not work for putting somebody in jail, because you put somebody in jail to protect them from other people, right? That analogy might not work. But suppose you came before a judge, and you were guilty of something, and the judge said $5,000 fine or you go to jail, and you go, Judge, I don't have $5,000. At that point, the judge comes from around his bench. He reaches into his pocket, and he takes out $5,000. What's the only thing you can do to be free? You can take the money and pay off your fine, right? That's what God does for us. He comes down from heaven, He adds humanity over His deity, and He pays our fine. So that's perfectly just. Your Father, if He's the judge, can pay your penalty.
But how come we don't see that happening today in courts?
How come we don't see that happening today in courts?
I mean, I wish.
If your father was a judge and you came before him, he might do that for you. He might pay your penalty, might he? He could.